What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Peter, aka Forex Funded, coming at you with another weekly analysis for this upcoming week of May 14th, 2023. So let's get into it. Let's see what we've got on here. So, what can we get rid of that we don't need? Go down to like four. Um, let's just start with the weekly chart and just work our way down as usual. So if we look at this weekly, what I personally see is I see three solid rejections. Three, some people might call it two. I see it as three, right? So we have a first rejection right here. Oh wait, wow, that's lovely. Lovely. Really thinking today. We have this first rejection right here, right? From this 2050 level, which brought us all the way back down to 1970, 1980. We have this second rejection from 2067 that ended up closing the week back at 2016. And then we have last week, which we rejected that 2050 key level, closed at 2011 and saw a low of 2000, right? So that sets up my personal bias that for next week, we're probably going to attack this weekly candle, the open, and possibly the low of that candle, right? So if we just put the stuff back on that we have, right? We have that weekly low marked, that weekly, I'm sorry, the weekly open marked. The weekly low we do not have marked because we have another thing there, which we'll get into. So that is basically what I'm looking for. I'm going to be looking for further bearishness. Um, if you really wanted to, right? Why not? Right? Throw in a fresh weekly sell level. Now, the thing about this is that you ideally want a nice voluminous candle, right? However, this week where we had that same kind of rejection, you didn't have a voluminous candle, but you did see that the following week you came back to it to retest that open, and then you fell. And then you even retested it the week after that, and you still didn't have any progress yet, right? And if you would have had a blue buy line here, you would have had the same thing, and you're respecting the lows, respecting the highs. So it's a good sell level to look for. So prior daily high, obviously that was a while ago. Let's see what other lines can we get rid of? Nothing really for right now. We can get rid of this. Yeah, so as we were expecting last week on Wednesday, Thursday, we were expecting a break of this minor trend line, right? Um, we had a push on Thursday, and then we was expecting it to break because we left a lower high and made a. I don't know if we technically made, we didn't make a lower low here, but what we did is we saw that the bodies were lower than the prior, so that gave me the indication we're going down. So now that we've broken out of that, probably just going to get rid of the lower end. The higher end we can keep there. We will want to modify it just a little bit. For instance, I'll put it from the high to that most recent area that we retested, which would be right here. Some people will argue, oh, put it up here on this wick. Me, trend lines are never perfect for me. I know some people argue that they are. It's a general area, so that's how I trade it. Daily, we don't really have anything that stands out. We do have this gray line, which, as I went over in the prior video, really just indicates that like when we fell, where we first fell to, and basically the middle of that support of this giant consolidation that we had, right? It's $45. So if you had a midpoint in it, it would be somewhere right around there. If the low is 69, the high is 15, right? Put about $25 in the middle. That's basically the midpoint. You can see how price traded above it, broke below it. And you have basically what I'm saying is you have clear breaks above it and wicks into it. You don't really have any inconsistent price action in there. So that is why I have that marked up. We went over that last video. But yeah, like I was saying, there's not much for me to look at here on this daily chart. I know in some of my prior videos I had stuff like I had a trend line that was like this. And then from that point where we really took off, I had another one that we started and we put here, right? So if anything, we might want to leave that one in there. I'm not a big trend line trader. I really just add them in for extra confluence. If you look at like the 4 hour, what we are, we're below it. We retested it. So that might tell us that we can expect when market opens to just kind of fall, retest, and, go something like that. I'm not really worried about that as I'm not going to trade Asian or London. I almost never do. And I'm trying to get even further away from trading Asian and London because it's not my trading style. So on the 4 hour, we do have a few things we can get, maybe not get rid of. We can get, let's see, let's take a little look. So on Friday, we had the sell move that we traded with the news, and then we were looking for the break retest resumption, right? So we had our 38, which we respected, but what I was really looking for was that break and retest of this area, which is exactly what we got. We traded this move. It was very nice. If you would have had this hour here, which is what we did, right? You have that double confluence. I could have sworn it was a fib. I could have sworn we had 38 there. I guess maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. So we moved that hourly candle over there, but I'm jumping around too much. So back to the 4 hour. As I mentioned though, what I'm really expecting, I can't even say expecting. What I would like to see based off this current price action is, if this rejection does hold, we shouldn't break the prior 4 hour high, right? If we want to see this. So you could come up, test a little bit, and then fall. I would expect that when we come to, if that happens, when we come towards that 1990 area, that we would have some kind of retest before we go further down, right? Another way to further show that would be, you had this low, which gave off a nice rejection, and then we had this low, which gave off a nice rejection. It'd be kind of the same as over here with just a simple break and retest. So that is my first possibility. I know the chart looks really messy, but when you're a member of the Forex Funded family, it all makes a lot more sense. So if you're just watching it on YouTube, be sure to check the links in the description. Um, like I said, I really like to use voluminous candles when I mark up the opens, which is a minor sell or buy level, right? If you've watched the videos long enough, that's why I have when it says 1D4, like those are that time frame sell levels that I would look for, right? Or buy levels if it's blue. And obviously I'm not getting a tap of that, an instant buy or sell, right? You need price action and further confirmations to give you a good trade. So that first 4 hour area would be a nice thing to see a retest and then a sell downwards. If we don't get that, and if we end up breaking this high, probably come back up towards 61. But if that's what we saw, if what we see is a break to the upside, right? I would basically just be looking for, I would look to further analyze that Asian and London price action come New York on Monday and see what we've gotten. So basically, if you see what I just did with this box, I just marked up 6-1, right? Instead of arguing with my brain, do I use this high or do I use this high, right? I just make a box where it contains both 6-1 at the top, 6-1 at the bottom, right? And then you just know that is 61, right? I like that too because depending on when you would hit it, you could get 3 confirmations out of that single area, right? You could have the daily sell level, you could have the trend line, and then 61%, right? Depends on when, right? If it takes all the way over here, it's not going to really be that trend line. You know what I mean? So that would be a possible area that I'd look for. And as I mentioned, if we end up breaking the high in Asian, I would, expect something more like coming to attack this lower high that we left. And if you break it, look for that retest and then a further upward movement towards that 2030 level, where I would then look for a sell back down to these lows, right? My overall bias for the week, as I mentioned, for now, is bearish, right? We could have some kind of Sunday open, Monday and Tuesday, right? Could be super bullish and could give me reasons to somewhat flip on that, right? I don't really like to do that, but as I'm saying, for now, my bias is bearish that we're going to come and attack 92 and 82 this week, right? And then from that basic analysis is where we will get further price action on lower time frames to give us additional setups or to really just confirm these setups that we already have out, that we have already set out for each other. You know what? I need to talk on this because I didn't really remember what had happened. It was 38% because this is where we sold. We sold right here. We had this break, we had this retest, and we sold all the way down to that 2000 level, right? And then on Friday, you came back for that same level where you had that 1 hour. It was bothering me. I had to, explain that, you know what I mean? Um, so yeah, basically what I'm saying is this area, which was once support, is now resistance, and it tells me that if we do get that upward movement that I am not really wanting, but I'll take anything, right? If you break it, look for a retest of either that area or, um, anywhere like this 2016. I like that 2016 area because if you look right here, not supposed to be purple, I meant gray. Right, you have bodies or wicks, right? You don't have like sideways movement. It's like you're straight below it, you're straight above it, or you're rejecting the hits out of it. You know what I mean? And you can pull it back and see how that same area has been a nice support. You broke above it, you retested it, you came up, you broke straight down, took the lows, retested it, formed a little consolidation pattern just to break higher. Then he came back to it again. So I like that area. I'm not keeping this in here. My chart's already a little bit messy for even myself. Let me send that out to the mentorship Discord real quick. Just give me 1 second. And then we can get on over here to US30 and we can talk. Oops. Sorry about that. We can talk about this US30. Oh. So US30. I guess a quick little recap of what we had the last week. So on Thursday, we had that nice bearish move that we were expecting. Come Friday, we had a retest of our 61,786 level and 30-minute supply area. Trying to make sure 30 and 15 supply area for a nice New York sell, which came down to that 4 hour level. Like I mentioned, right, when you have those things. Another reason why we were looking for a heavy push up off of here. First, there was a no wick here, which you bounced off of. Second, you left a no wick here, which you cleared. Now, like I say, I trade those. The market does not want to or like to leave those. So yeah. Going to weekly. See what we got here. So weekly, we have a nice, I'll call it half engulfing candle, right? Because for engulfing, you want to engulf the full wick. We didn't engulf all of the wick. So technically, it's not engulfing, but it is nice and voluminous candle that I would personally like to sell further. I mean, if you look, we've really been stuck in this, aside from this minor outlier right here, this pretty tight range on the weekly for 6 months now. And I would love to see us attack this 3,200 level, 32,000 level. If not, what I see happening is, if I'm wrong, or if not necessarily wrong, but if we break to the upside, right, everything tells me that we're going to come for whatever this level is right here. That music got really loud. Like, damn, hold on. for whatever that level is right there, that 36,000 level. Um, I'm not really expecting that if I'm going to be honest. We had been looking to sell it the past week and a little bit the week before that. So I'm really just going to continue with that. Nothing else for me to mark up on the weekly. So here's where you can see that no wick that we cleared. In terms of, we had this daily level that we missed. You know what? Before I forget, I need to go back here and mark up that. So we had this. Where were we? Sorry, I'm jumping around. I know we had this daily level that we missed. I really expected us to come and test that, but we got a different setup, which we had a nice sell on that. We had a nice quick 200 pip sell. Some people I saw they put their TP in, as we advised to, and some people didn't. Right, the people that put their TP in, they were out of the trade in 25 minutes. They had no option. So yeah, so just taking a look at the daily, have that same kind of little trend line that gold had. Looking at daily, nothing really new that we left. Why does it keep getting louder? I'm sorry about that. My Bluetooth has a mind of its own ever since I put these LED lights in. It's very tricky for me right now because technically, if you really look at this trend line, we have bounced 2 times off of this. So maybe it is time for us to see, a push higher to the upside, and come back towards this supply area, right? Where we have all these nice long wicks, right about 33.7 to 33.8 area. That is a possibility. With US30, I really like to have a solid day's worth of price action before I trade. I really don't like to trade on a Monday on US30. And as always, I really do these weekly analysis really just to set myself up for a bias in 2 possible trades. It's much easier to have a bias, 2 possible trades, and then take price action as it goes, whether it goes with your bias or against it, right? I'm not trying to say we're going to go up here, then we're going to fall. I'm just trying to get a basic understanding for what I think the market's doing. And then from there we trade. So daily, nothing new to add. We added that weekly in already. Going to 4-hour, what do we see? We see that we can move this 4-hour over here. We do have a double bottom on the 4-hour, so that does give us more of a reason why we might want to get that pullback to this area. As mentioned, as we had 6-1 attempts, which means we have a lot of liquidity here. So if we were to see that push up, I would expect it to break those highs to take that liquidity, not really just bounce off of that area. You know what I mean? And if that is the case, if we're going to see some kind of a move like that, the way that I would look to get into it is watching that price action happen, Asian in London, and then have some kind of retracement set up for New York stock open or anytime in New York trading in to see that, right? And then if we do look at these lows that we left, these higher lows, the bodies are both above the lower, the prior lows on the body. So that also signals to me that we do have some weakness in terms of the selling pressure. So we do want to probably watch out for more of a bullish bias to at least start the week. And then maybe Wednesday we would see this move happen and then a nice sell from that, right? And even if that happens and you just go to retest this minor trend line, right? Say we tested these highs from those highs, right? That's still a 300 pip trade. I don't know why I clicked twice. That's still a nice 300 pip trade that anyone would happily take. And if we get a sufficient entry for the buy, right, you could say that's another 300, a quick little 600 pips on US30. But as always, we need to see what happens this week. If what we get is the bearish the bearish bias, what I would be expecting is us to break these prior lows, come and retest them, and then head for this trend line and then this weekly level. So for now, I would have this level marked up. It would be blue. And then as soon as we break it, I would have it purple, just like we had on that gold break and retest that we had last time. So yeah, I don't like to get into US30 as deeply as I do with gold in terms of a weekly analysis, because in my opinion, in my experience, it's much easier for US30 to really just do whatever the fuck she wants and kind of not really go against your analysis, but like it goes back to what I said, where I'm not over here trying to predict the exact moves of the market. I'm really just trying to predict and analyze zones that will be used. And then when we come to that, we have trade opportunities. You know what I mean? And with US30, especially with how things are set up right now, it's more difficult in my opinion. Um, and I'm not gonna overcomplicate things just to try and catch a trade, right? If you wait, the patience will pay you every single time. So we will see what happens this week. But as I mentioned, I don't really have anything further on US30. We're in a kind of a really weird, not weird. Like when I say weird, I don't mean like, oh my God, I have no idea what to do. It's just in one of those, like we've been bearish, but for the most part, these are small ass candles, right? You didn't change nothing new. You didn't make a higher high. You didn't make a lower low. So you're still in that sideways market, right? That consolidation. So ideally, we want to get active when we make that fresh lower low, or when we come to a retracement zone where we can look to sell it from a lower high to a lower low. Hopefully that makes a lot of sense for you guys. If it doesn't, you really might want to check out the free Telegram that we have, or even our mentorship. You know, so I hope that you guys learned a little bit from this. I hope that you guys, check us out. We have our free Telegram room, we have our Instagram, we have our paid mentorship on Discord. We're really here just to help educate anyone that's looking to learn. And we love transparency. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit here on this chart and talk about, well, this and this and this and this. If I don't see much, I'm gonna tell you guys that. Because at the end of the day, if I make money, you have the opportunity to make money, considering I send all of my analysis to the mentorship. I sent all of my entries to the mentorship. I'm there answering questions. I'm going live. So if I'm doing well, you're doing well. If I'm doing bad and you're purely following me and not doing anything for yourself, you're doing bad, right? But at the end of every single month, I'm positive, whether it's 0.5%, whether it's 8%, whether it's 3%, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Because as I said earlier, it's that patience that will always have you paid. So as I mentioned, we hope to see some new faces in the free trading room. We hope to see some new faces in the mentorship, and we would love to see you guys on our Instagram. We have a three funded account giveaway going. There's 200Ks, two 100Ks, and one 50K account going. It's free to enter. You just tag some friends in the comments, repost it on your story. Yeah. So until next time, we'll end up doing a live sometime this week. I will see you guys there. Hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend thus far. Hope you call your mother today and tell her you love her if you can't go see her physically. you know. And we hope you guys have a wonderful trading week.